At 78, Eric Clapton has heard and played just about everything worth playing. He's jammed with rock's greatest icons, rewritten the rules of guitar tone, and lived through enough decades of change to fill 10 lifetimes. Yet one topic still fascinates fans: his long and complicated friendship with the Beatles. This year, in a rare interview for a forthcoming documentary on classic rock, Clapton finally opened up about which Beatles songs mean the most to him. His 5 choices are surprising, emotional, and deeply personal. A glimpse into how one guitar legend hears another band of legends. Clapton's history with the Beatles isn't just that of a fan. It's woven into their mythology. He played lead guitar on "While My Guitar Gently Weeps," one of the most haunting tracks from the White Album. He was close friends with George Harrison, so close that he later married Harrison's ex-wife, Pattie Boyd. Yet the bond between the two men remained intact. "George was my brother," Clapton has often said. "We understood each other without talking." So when Clapton talks about the Beatles, it isn't from a distance. It's from the inside, as someone who saw the band's artistry and struggles up close. At 78, with his touring days slowing, he's finally had time to look back and reflect on the songs that shaped him. 1. "While My Guitar Gently Weeps," 1968. Clapton's top choice was obvious, but not for the reason fans might think. "It's not my solo," he said with a laugh. "It's the song. George wrote something that carries real sadness. It's about the world losing empathy." He remembers the day Harrison called him into the studio. He said, "Come play on this, the others aren't feeling it today." I went in, plugged in a Les Paul through a cranked amp, and just felt it. We did one take. It wasn't technical, it was emotional. Clapton says the track still moves him every time he hears it. "It's the one Beatles song where I can hear a friend talking to me, not just a Beatle, but George." 2. "Here Comes the Sun," 1969. Clapton's second pick was another Harrison gem, and no surprise to those who know the pair's history. "That's George's spirit," Clapton said. "He came over to my garden one morning. The sun was finally out after a grows, long English winter, and he started strumming those chords. You can hear the light. He called Abbey Road a perfect goodbye, and said, 'Here comes the sun,' reminded him that music could heal even the heaviest hearts. Whenever I was in dark places, I'd put that on. You can't stay sad with that song around." 3. "Come Together," 1969. This one surprised fans because it isn't a guitar-centric track. "It's about groove," Clapton explained. "Ringo's drumming on that, man. It's untouchable. It's funky without trying." Clapton said, "Come Together" changed how he thought about rhythm guitar. John's playing was sly, like he was hiding behind the beat. "It's a masterclass in restraint. Most guitarists, including me, want to fill every space. John left them open. That's what made it heavy." He confessed that Cream and Derek and the Dominoes owed some of their rhythmic confidence to that Beatles era. From them, How to Sit in a Pocket. It's rock and roll with soul. 4. Something 1969. "George again," Clapton smiled. "But can you blame me?" He recalled hearing the demo before Abbey Road came out. "He played it for me at his place in Esher. I said, 'That's the best thing you've ever written.' And I meant it." For Clapton, Something isn't just a love song, it's a meditation on devotion. George had this gentleness. He could say the simplest words and make them profound. When Frank Sinatra called it the greatest love song of the past 50 years, he wasn't wrong. Clapton occasionally performed it live as a tribute after Harrison's death in 2001. "I still can't get through it without choking up," he admitted. It's George's soul on tape. 5. A Day in the Life, 1000. 967. Clapton's final choice strays from Harrison's orbit and lands squarely in Lennon-McCartney territory. That one blew my head. "Off," he said. It was the moment rock music became art. He remembered hearing it for the first time when the Beatles invited him to Abbey Road during the Sgt. Pepper sessions. The orchestra was going mad, a swirl of chaos. Then it ends on that huge piano chord. I thought, well, that's it. We've hit the limit of what music can do. To this day, he credits A Day in the Life with expanding his idea of composition. It made me realize you could take blues roots and put them in a bigger frame. Without that, there might never have been Layla. What ties Clapton's 5 picks together isn't their fame, it's their feeling. Each represents an emotion or lesson he's carried through his career: sorrow, hope, groove, love, and imagination. Those 5, he said, that's everything I've ever tried to play. He also emphasized that the Beatles were never about showing off. They weren't virtuosos in the technical sense, but they knew how to serve a song. That's the secret. That's what I still chase every time I pick up a guitar. Clapton's tone softened as he talked about aging and memory. At my age, you don't just hear music, you see ghosts in it. I hear George's laugh in the strings, John's wit in the lyrics, Paul's bass lines holding it all together. They were 4 guys in a room, but they became something eternal. Clapton's relationship with George Harrison remains the emotional core of his Beatles connection. When asked what he'd say to his late friend today, Clapton paused. I'd say, "You were right, mate. The love you gave is still here." He keeps a framed photo of Harrison in his studio and often replays the songs they shared. "George taught me that humility and genius can live in the same person," he said. He didn't compete. He communed. That attitude, Clapton believes, is missing in much of modern rock. Everyone's trying to out-solo each other. The Beatles never did that. They built something together. That's why those songs still breathe. When asked whether his 5 favorite Beatles songs influenced his own work, Clapton laughed softly. They're the foundation. Every time I pick up a guitar, some part of those songs is in my fingers. He said that, while my guitar gently weeps, will always feel like home. I didn't just play on it, I lived in it for a moment. That's the beauty of music. You leave a piece of yourself there forever. As the interview wrapped, Clapton strummed a few gentle chords and whispered, "It's all still there. You know, the love, the sound, the spirit." For fans who grew up idolizing both Clapton and the Beatles, hearing him speak so tenderly closes a circle that began over half a century ago. At 78, the guitar god remains, above all else, a humble listener still in awe of 4 lads from Liverpool who taught the world how to feel.